Hen of the woods. Got 1 football size, 2 large softball size, 3, 4 about the size of a softball there. Couple more right here. And the nice thing about these, you can harvest them. And you can harvest all of them. And the very next year, you remember this tree. But what you want to do, you want to take and cut them loose, okay? If you pull them up and you pull the septum up, you'll never find them again. But if you take and you cut them off and you leave the septum behind, they will regrow in the same spot again. Now, assuming they're a polyspore, you can harvest them all, because by the time you found them, this is getting to be late year, they've already dispersed all their spores, what spores they're going to disperse. But more or less, as long as you leave that septum, you will find them there again the following year. So, yeah, there's going to be a harvest of hen of the woods. So, already harvested a few of them, but the basic process is, here's that from that large one. The basics of it, the way you do this is you're going to come in with your knife underneath of them. Now, I prefer a flay knife, something smaller, but this will do if it's all you got. It's just my typical USA buck skinner. So what you're going to do, you're going to come in right along the base of the bottom of them. You just want to cut right along the base of them. Be sure not to go in the ground, of course, because you'll dull your knife. Go down one side, come into the other side, right underneath of them. Just cut down from underneath of it. You don't want to lift up a little bit. Get your knife into the rest of the way. Work your way through it, to the base of it. Once you pops free, it's just as simple. Once you pops free, she'll just lift right up loose from the ground, and all you'll be left with is the septum. And then we'll regrow from that the next year. But that there is hunting and harvesting fall mushrooms. Things are delicious in soups. You can take and fry them up, and they taste a lot like a morel. Little denser than a morel, but they're still just as sought after. But that is the hen of the woods, and I tried to find my spot for my chickens, but I've got a few, but they're not really worth showing. They're pretty well dried up. I've got my chickens. Let me set these up somewhere where I won't forget them. I won't lose them. Oh, there we go. 1, 2. Relatively, that's an older one there. Starting to lose this collar, but I still know what it is. Your chicken of the woods is kind of different looking. Well, it looks completely different than those. That is a chicken, and that is a chicken. The only two I found that were still halfway worth picking. Tall tale sign of a chicken of the woods is on the top will be orangish red, on the bottom will be bright canary yellow. They're pretty much unmistakable. They've only got one partial look-alike that you could maybe mistake it for, and that's a jack-o'-lantern mushroom. And those, the way you can tell them is they have gills. One, they have gills. This here has spores, microspores. You can hardly see them. Gills, if you see gills on what you think is a chicken of the woods, you definitely do not have it. But yes, that there is your chicken of the woods. Orange on top, yellow on the bottom, microspores. Hens of the woods kind of look like hens of the woods, the lamb's head mushroom, sheep's head mushroom. Kind of looks like sheep's fur if you look at it from a distance. Turn it upside down, it is a polyspore. Little tiny spores on the bottom of it. That is your tall tale sign of a hen of the woods. And when you find hens, you'll know it. Found them around this great big massive oak. A little detail size, if I can get this. Of course, me in front and that oak behind. So, that's pretty much the only place you're going to find them. So, there you go.